make this adorable book sleeve with me. I started out with 13 by 16 fabric, both for the lining and the outer fabric. I decided to quilt the outer fabric, and I just did 4 by 4 inch squares. That seemed to work best for me because of the size material I used. You can do whatever type of quilting pattern you like, but the 4 by 4 worked well for me. I also make sure to top stitch around all the edges just to make sure that the fabric is adhered to the batting. This batting I used is polyester batting, and I'll put the link in the description. I like this one most because it gives enough fluff, but it also adds a little bit of structure. Now the straps I used, I did 3.5 by 16 inches. Folded them in half, sewed across and down the open side of the fabric. I did a little diagonal sew on the top just so that way it could look a little bit more like a bow. So that's what I'm doing there, and I just cut the excess amount off, and you can see it just looks a little bit better doing it that way. Now, I know all you guys have fancy tools, but I use my medical forceps and a plain old chopstick to turn my items inside out. They work great, and I never have a problem with them. After quilting, I always double check and line up my lining material again, just to make sure that it's still good to go. So now I fold the outside lining and just go and sew down each side. And I do the same for the lining and the outer fabric. Now, when you're sewing your lining fabric, you want to make sure to leave an opening about 3 inches, and that's what you're going to use to turn your bag back right side when you're done. After I'm done sewing the liner and the outer fabric, I want my corners to be boxed. So I just go ahead and flatten out the corners. Make sure that they're lined up good to where it makes a triangle at the tip. And I usually do just 1.5 inch corners. I measure it, make sure it's all lined up, and then take it back over to the sewing machine and sew across the line that I made, and then snip the excess material. Now, I do the 1.5 because it's not as wide and it just fits better with the size material bag that I'm using. And it works out great. After snipping off the corners, I just double check to make sure everything is sewn properly. And then we start connecting the lining. Turn the lining right side out so that way both right side materials are touching. Attach the corners and just go completely around. I attach my straps at this time, and I just mark where the center of the bag will be, and then clip on the inside the straps, and the strap will go in between the lining and the outer fabric. And then I just clip all the way around, and then take it back to the sewing machine and just sew directly all the way around the circumference of the bag. Now I turn the bag right side out, check to make sure everything's lined up, poke the corners out, make sure that I attached the straps properly, get any loose fabric, and then we'll sew up the hole that we left in the material. So we sew up that hole. And then now what I recently started doing was, we have to top stitch around the top part of the bag. But now I like the look of there being a little of the lining fabric showing up on top of the bag. So I take it over to the sewing machine. To the ironing board, I'm sorry. And just iron across there so that way it's evenly all the way around, and then I top stitch it at that time. I just think it gives the bag a little more appealing look that way. So there we have it. And there's the finished product. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page so you can see some more of my sewing products.